Yeah, episode 4. I think this is just going to be a very quick episode. We'll do a preview on the Six Nations 3 games, some lucky URC games that are up and coming. Talk about the big burning news of Warren Gatland leaving Wales, and then just a few other news articles that we'll go over.
Okay, let's do it.
Before we start, just a shout out to Nontu, one of my sister's colleagues who's been asking when our next episode is releasing. So, yeah, thank you for the support.
Yes, thanks for this. Everybody that's been watching and liking and thanks for that. We do appreciate it. And
Yeah, we're trying.
guys, you should also feel free to leave some comments. If you like controversy and got pretty thick skins, some comments.
Yeah, not that thick, so please be gentle. Uh, the first game that we are gonna be talking about is probably gonna be one of the not that good games in the Six Nations, which is Wales versus Ireland. So obviously it's gonna be the first game in this Six Nation with Warren Gatland or without Warren Gatland. And yeah, what do you think, Timo? You think the interim coast match Sherat can pull a rabbit out of the hat and do something, or
Well, I think he first needs to find where Gatland put that. I think that's the problem. Before he's going to even attempt to pull a rabbit out of that, I think. Look, I'm going to support Wales with everything that I've got in this one. To be honest with you, I just
yeah.
can't see them doing anything
No,
with
I also
Wales.
don't. I also don't think so. I think the Irish will probably smack them with a good 30 to 40 points. Yeah, even though Wales do have home ground advantage, which I don't think will count for anything. But yeah, it's very sad. I honestly think that Ireland are going to beat them very badly. But yeah, like I said, it's probably one of the more boring games. I actually think that this game is on at the same time as one of the URC games. So I doubt that I'll be watching this one anyways. But yeah,
Yeah.
the next game is England versus Scotland. Sorry, you wanted to add something for Wales and Ireland?
No. We'll catch up with the Gatland stuff in a bit. Not a
Yeah,
lot to say about that, but
yeah.
England Scotland, I think.
Yeah, one of the probably the juiciest game. No, definitely the juiciest game of the Six Nations this weekend. They're playing on Saturday at Twickenham on Saturday, the 22nd of February at 18:45 South African time. This is going to be a good one. Now, if you look at the last 5 games, it seems like Scotland is actually England's hoodoo team. Scotland have beaten them 4 out of the 5 times. But yeah, in my opinion, I don't foresee that happening again. I think England are probably going to beat them quite comfortably. I know that Scotland have a lot of injuries. I don't know how bad the injury is to the number 10. I forget the name.
And Russell.
Finn Russell is. I don't know how bad that is. But if they're playing without him, I honestly think that England are gonna do a number on them.
I actually don't think that's going to be the case for Scotland. I think Finn Russell, like we've discussed in multiple episodes, I think Finn Russell is the dead weight. Playing on past reputation, maybe getting somebody young in there that just reads the game a bit better. And I think it will. Look, they're going to have to build at some point.
Yeah.
I mean, Finn Russell's also not 22 years old anymore. So might as well get somebody in there now and see how it goes. I mean, but this is going to be the match that's gonna determine a lot, because it's either gonna mean England finishes second or they finish fourth, or Scotland finishes third or fourth.
100%.
So I think this is the one they're probably gonna throw everything at.
Yes, 100%.
To see, to just save face, and probably get to a point where they've got they don't finish in the lower half of the.
Yeah. Well, each team has lost once, except Ireland and Wales has lost twice. Wales lost twice. But each team has lost once. So I think every team are hoping, or is hoping that France beat Ireland when they're playing in the Viva Stadium. I think it's the next round. And if that happens, obviously, with each with one loss, or it'll come down to points deficit. So I think England, like you said, England and Scotland are going to throw everything at each other. But you know what will be very interesting to see is if they're going to stay with that Finn Smith, Marcus Smith 10-15 combination. What do you think?
I think it's a safe play at the moment. Um, but then again, we're coming back to the uh, the back three of Scotland.
Yeah.
You know, if they're gonna start breaking lines and stuff, does Marcus Smith really have the capabilities to stop Duan van der Merwe? Um, and I mean the Scottish fullback, just
Mm.
get his name, but he's
Hang on.
yeah, King on. I mean, they're not small guys,
No,
and stuff like that. So I just think at the moment, I wouldn't change too much,
I wouldn't
but I would
either.
I would really have a look at maybe having, if I was England, maybe having the wings play a little bit deeper than usual so that they can help Marcus that defense. Because
Yeah.
if Scotland's gonna get their back three going, it's gonna be a very very long
Mm.
England.
Yeah.
Smith, he doesn't have the best defensive.
No. But yeah, 100%. But in saying that, I think and this is contrary to what I said 2 episodes ago. I think Marcus Smith is looking good on 15. I think he can look better, but obviously he's playing out of position. But I just don't see anyone in the England squad, taking that 15 jersey away from him at the moment, especially not with Finn Smith sort of making that 10 jersey his own after last week. And I mean, Finn Smith looked brilliant. He just found a way to put the backline in space. He was just and I think with a backline like what England have, you need a general like Finn Smith, and not just that, you got Alex Mitchell and Finn Smith who play together at Northampton Saints. We've got that combinations. Then you've got Ollie Lawrence, Tommy Freeman, even as Ollie Slater, and Henry Slater, Marcus Smith. You've got a dangerous backline. You need a general that can put them in space, and sort of just release the hounds.
I agree. I agree.
Yeah,
That's if the ball goes wide,
yeah.
as well. I think England try and be as forward dominant as they possibly can, and
Mm.
it hasn't been
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
um
Well, see, no disrespect to Marcus Smith on 10. He's also obviously a bit of a general, but I just feel like um, Marcus Smith is a how can I say? He'll find the gap. He'll break the line. But Finn Smith is more reliant on who's around him. If it makes sense what I'm trying to get at.
yes. I think
Um,
that's what helps Smith on back is the fact that he's
mm,
got time to, maybe when he's got the ball, just that little bit of
yes.
extra time to find the gap
Yeah.
in where he doesn't usually have that at 10. But I mean, in all fairness, with the centers that England has,
Mm,
um, you know, you shouldn't be looking for the gap in any case. You
mm,
should be getting it to your centers
yeah.
are very very dangerous if you can get the game a bit loose.
Especially Ollie Lawrence is yes, what a monster. But I did also see that Tom Curry wasn't called up to the. I don't know if it's injury. I'll have to double check. I don't know if he's injured or what. But I did see that he wasn't called up to the call-up squad, and I'm fairly certain it's injury because I don't see why he wouldn't, in my opinion, call up the guy that was the best player of the England team in these last 2 games. He was just unbelievable. What a monster. What they would do in his place, I don't know. If it was me, I'd probably call up Chandler Cunning himself and let him make that, give him that 6 jersey because I know he's not been in the best form, for these last 2 games, but he's there was a time where he was really really good. Just automation series, he was. I think he was nominated for breakthrough player if I'm not mistaken. Um,
Yes.
so give the guy a shot. Obviously he's not making that impact from the bench that we thought he was going to. Give him a shot. Or let Ben Curry come up, and let him take his brother's shirt and see how that goes.
Yes, I agree. I think that's definitely something that they can look at. Just to clarify, I quickly did a search here for us. Tom Curry does have a so
Oh, he does.
yeah, I think he's not gonna do too
Well, with the
much.
way he was playing, I'm not surprised. He was just fucking going for it, body on the line every single time. So yeah. Then it's Italy versus France is the last game, which is on Sunday, on the 23rd of February at 5 o'clock South African time. They're playing in Italy, but yeah, interestingly enough, the last time they played, which is last year in the Six Nations, it was a draw between these two teams. So can Italy do it again? Can they get a win? They are missing Ione. I think he's injured, so he's ruled out for the game, which is obviously a very dangerous player for Italy. Yeah, do you think they can do it again? Do you think maybe they can get away with a win this time?
I don't see it. I think the big thing, if we look at this match, we look at the Ireland versus Wales match as well. I think what's going to make these interesting though is that France and Ireland are going to look for points. Because we discussed it in a previous. It might come down to points at the end of the day, and it's going to be reckless rugby. The big thing that people tend to forget is that Italy, although they're not a top-ranked side in the sense they're in the top 5 or whatever, they've still got a pretty dangerous and pretty pacey backline.
Yeah.
So if the game is going to get to lose and France make too many mistakes by trying to chase points to make up a deficit, it might actually just play into Italy's hands.
Yeah.
And if Italy is going to capitalize on that, especially in front of an Italian crowd, considering half the mafia is going to be there, I think it could get a very long day for France.
I think a lot of the world thought that the World Cup was theirs, and I think maybe they just didn't have the right mindset, which is definitely coming back to them now.
I think the big thing is it's arrogance versus confidence. I think that's the big thing, and I tend to feel that in a lot of the situations and a lot of the times, and this is not meant as a bad thing, but I tend to notice that especially with Ireland, especially with France, it's that arrogance they've got. Now, it's not a pretty sight for rugby. Rugby is a humble sport. Although it's a brutal sport, it's a humble sport. I know the fans tend to everywhere. The fans are just insane, but Ireland and France lack the humbleness. It's that old saying. They're winning a lot of games, but they don't win games that matter.
Yeah. Yeah, but like I said, I think France are going to smash it today. France are looking, better than they looked last season to me, and although they did lose to England, I think there's a big chance that they can probably beat Ireland. Like I said, and let's hope that actually happens because it'll make the Six Nations just a bit more interesting. It's gonna give a lot of the other teams a chance to win it as well, and instead of just a bland Irish, three-peat Grand Slam.
Really. All right.
Okay. Next URC. First game of the URC is Edinburgh on Valentine's Day. It's Edinburgh that is playing. Tomorrow's Valentine's Day. It's Edinburgh versus Zebre. Friday. At 21 or 35 minutes past 9 our South African time. Prediction?
I think look, I think it's European sides in the URC probably all going to be a bit lackluster considering they lost a lot of their players, probably the international sides. But I just think Edinburgh has too much in the tank. I don't see it. I mean, it's 8th on the log versus 15th on the log. I just don't see. It gets down to this because Edinburgh has played 10, won 4, and Zebra has played 10 and won 3. So there's not, in that sense, there's not a big difference between them. But then you look at that and you go and say, okay, Edinburgh has a negative 6 point advantage, where Zebra has minus 87. So Zebra tends to just bleed a lot of points.
Zebra is probably the worst team in the URC. No offense.
them and the Dragons.
Yeah, but and Edinburgh are losing or have lost a few of their key players. They've got Duan van der Merwe and Pierre Schoeman that are playing out for Scotland. This weekend most likely. But still, yeah, I still think Edinburgh will take this one.
Yeah, I can't see it happening. Okay,
Ospreys versus Leinster. Ospreys are very, very lucky to be playing Leinster at this time at home because Leinster have 90% of the Irish squad, and the Irish squad are playing against Wales this weekend. So I think if Ospreys stand a chance to beat, or if any team has a chance to beat Leinster's unbeaten streak in the URC, Ospreys, this is probably the best chance you'll get.
Yeah, I think I can't see it happening. I mean, I think Leinster has too much the international influence they've got there. Jody Barrett, RG Snyman.
Oh
Yeah, I
yeah,
mean,
100%.
I just don't see the Ospreys. There's no names popping out of the Ospreys for going like, okay, that's going to be or that's going to make a difference. So brutally, I think it's going to be an easy win for Leinster. Well, it should be. I don't know. It
Yeah,
should be an easy win for Leinster, but at least 30 points. I actually
yeah.
think on Super I did pick them by about 28 or something like that.
I'm going to say Leinster, but I'm going to say with a bit less. I'll say probably by 14, 10 to 14 points.
Okay. Well, we all make
Uh,
mistakes, boy.
Then one of the big ones for the weekend, the Lions versus Storm at Emirates Park, Saturday the 15th of February at 2:30. I did see Sasha Ngomozule is busy in the training field. At this time, we haven't seen the teams yet. Yeah, I honestly think that he'll be playing this weekend, and if so, GG's, goodbye Lions. I honestly think the Stormers are going to blow them away. But I know the argument about putting Sasha on 12, having Marnie on 10. I see why they want to have sort of two major playmakers in the back line.
Well,
Choose one.
wasn't the last game Sasha played, wasn't that against the Lions as well? Where
100%.
where
Asanate
Sabakane basically
just
destroyed
smashed him.
his
Yeah.
destroyed him. Look, yeah, I I've seen a lot of potential in Gomazulu. I think the kid really has a lot of talent, but I do think
Yeah.
he's a hit and a miss. And we've actually had this discussion a while back
It,
before we even
yeah.
started the podcast. I just don't see him really becoming the next big thing. I mean, if
100%.
I compare him to, for example, to the other youngster that's playing in the following game with the Bulls and Sharks with Jordan Hendrickse, I think Jordan just took his opportunity. I mean, Sasha, for me, it's almost like it's going to be play 2 games, injury out for 6-7 weeks. Play 2 games,
Yeah.
injury out 6 or 7 weeks.
Yeah.
Um,
But that's exactly why he shouldn't be playing on 12. He's a brilliant player, a brilliant 10, but he's a bit injury prone. Obviously not his fault, but I like him on 10. I really do. I think he was looking so good for South Africa at 10. When he had the ball, he always did something. He probably should have not have been as dishonest with his injury, against All Blacks, which put him out for longer than it should have. But I really like him. I really, really like Sasha Faimo Gomzula. But at 10, I'm not the biggest fan of him at
I
12.
hope he proves me wrong. But I really think that he was a flash in the pan.
Yeah.
To be
But
brutally honest.
you did touch on something there that I do agree with. Now we're gonna get okay. We might as well move on to the Bulls and the Sharks. The Bulls and the Sharks. We got Jordan Hendricks. Okay, he's playing on fullback because of Rapalele injury. He has obviously made that 10 search shirt in the Sharks his own. He did not do as well in a Springbok shirt, but I do foresee him playing a lot of games in his future. As a Springbok. To me, he is so brilliant. He's so physical. He's also, a very good playmaker. His kicking percentage is very good. Whether it's going to be our first choice, second choice, or third choice, with the Springboks, that doesn't really matter. You'll get game time. Doesn't matter which choice you are. I honestly think that I foresee him playing a lot of games for the
Well,
Springboks.
here's my opinion on that. I thought he was great at the Lions.
Mm.
And he became a Springbok while he was at the Lions. Um,
I think he was at the Sharks already, but yeah, you might be right on that.
um, and I think the thing is though, you go into the Shark setup, right?
Mm.
And you're sitting with 2 Springbok scrum offs. You're sitting the Springbok
Jaden and
captain.
Grant.
So you're sitting with
Yeah.
the Springbok captain. You're sitting with legend in Eben. You sit with basically, I would say, majority of the Springbok. It is going to mold a player into a more calmer player. I think his Springbok debut was just horrible because I think he was under pressure. And his Springbok debut, he started, and Sasha was on the bench. And at that stage, just remember, Sasha had been playing with it for the Stormers. So he had Manie Lebok that was there. He had Warwick Geland, who's been in the boxes. He had Damien Willemse. The list goes on. He had Opa France there. So the list goes on. And that's the thing. And it's not that I'm bashing the Lions, okay? And I understand the Lions also lose a lot of players, like a lot of people call them a feeder club or whatever.
Yeah.
But they don't have the big enough players that can create that composure in the team that is required in a Springbok. And that's why, for example, you can look at a lot of the Lions players that tend to move. Tlabakane, I would make a Springbok tomorrow. I would give him a chance, definitely.
He's so good.
But for him to be in the Springbok jersey, I can guarantee you now he's not going to stay at the line.
Yeah.
Too much longer after that.
Well, I did see that he signed up until 2028. In fact, you're making a very good point that the Lions have sort of been this feeder club where a lot of our very good players have come from the Lions squad, and as soon as they get to the bigger clubs, buy them. But I see a lot of the Lions players are actually staying. I see Asanati signed on until 2028. I need to double check that. Henku van Wyk, which is just he's unbelievably good, Henku van Wyk. I really enjoy him as a 13. Frankie Horn, which is also one of our number 8 prospects. Unfortunately, there's just too many good or better South African 8s that I think is going to be battling for that jersey. But yeah, I see there's a lot of Lions players that are staying, and I honestly I jot that down to culture. I think that they just have
Look, the Lions. I definitely agree with that. I can give a lot of respect for that. And for me, it's a great thing for Lions rugby that these guys are deciding to stay. I do feel Lions have got one problem, and at every episode it seems like we're just gonna bash somebody and expect somebody to fuck off. But Rudolf Stroily, just go away. Go dive in the same river you made the box swim in 2003, and just go flow down the river there where all the shit goes, because everywhere he's gone, he's destroyed rugby, and that's the problem. The Lions will never go forward as long as Rudolf Stroily is there. I think he's a cancerous element of South African rugby. He's been a cancerous element of South African rugby. And I just wish these people would just realize, what they're doing and just walk away.
Yeah. Prediction: Lions versus Stormers. I don't think we ever before we officially move over to the Bulls versus Sharks.
Okay, Lions Stormers. I'm a Stormers, so I'm gonna just edge the Stormers, but I think it's gonna be close. It's gonna be the Stormers by 8 points.
I think it's going to be a close game. I think it's going to be a very good game. I see that the Lions have organized the trains and everything to run, so I think there's going to be quite a crowd attendance. I haven't seen the official number yet. But yeah, I think the Stormers are going to edge it. I think, especially with Sasha coming back, Warwick Geland is probably going to be in the 15, who's, the boogeyman who's scored a brilliant try against the Bulls last weekend. So yeah, I think Stormers by probably 10. Let's say 7.
All right.
Now Bulls versus Sharks. Now this, I'm a massive Sharks fan, and the thing with the Sharks is, and I said it, I think you and I even have a bet going on that I said before the URC started, the Sharks are going to win this URC with the players that they've got. What I didn't foresee is that 90% of them are going to be injured.
I'm sure nobody foresaw that. But
no, but if you look at the injury list for the Sharks, you got Andre Estragen, one of my favorite players. He's just, in my opinion, the best 12 between the 4 unions at the moment. He is just. It takes a whole squad to put that guy down. Apelele Fassi, he's been our starting 15 for the Springboks for a while now. Obviously, with Damien Willemse being out. Because he tore his nutsack, I think. Apelele Fassi is what more can you say? The weekend special is just brilliant. He's good to watch. He's the type of guy that you want to rely on when you are chasing a game. Ebenezer Bet. I actually heard some rumors that that he might be pushing for an early retirement. I hope that it's all it is rumors, because he is my favorite player. I love Eben Etzebeth. He's a beast. I know that he's probably not probably he is struggling with an ongoing HIA problem since the game against Exeter Chiefs, if I'm not mistaken. And I honestly hope that he recovers from that swiftly, because we need him. We're going to touch on upcoming Springbok fixtures later on, but we need Eben Etzebeth for that. I think he does take over the mantle of Springbok captain from Siya Kolisi for a little while before he also retires eventually. But yeah, we honestly need Eben Etzebeth. We've
look. I think the thing. You know, Eben needs, and we discussed this before. You know, he's got a wife, he's got a kid, he's got a small kid now. You know, we always say this family comes first. And I think he needs to focus. You know, it's also, if you look at his wife, she's tiny. She's not gonna mean a lot when he starts, passing out and all this stuff and whatnot. So I think if he retires, if he doesn't, I don't think it will matter. But if he does decide to retire and to take his health into consideration and be the best father that he could be, then that's gonna be my hats off to him.
Yeah.
Given us so many years
Yeah.
and it's gonna be a hard player to replace, or
I don't even know anything about it.
fill the gap is gonna
Yeah.
leave. Just to fill the gap, you probably need about 7 other.
Mm.
Um, but I think, I hope he recovers. But I think, at the end of the day, his decision that,
Mm.
what happens to.
Yeah. Well, I hope he recovers and he gives us another 4 to 5 years of great rugby. Eben moet ons hier los jou. We need him. And then we've got Jaden Hendricks. He's on Springbok leave, but it's fine. We've got Grant Williams that are playing. Marcus Zulema Pimpi has been suspended for gouging one of the other players' eyes out.
Which wasn't a gouge. I think, I don't even know what to say. Look, this match is going to be interesting. I think, it's number 3 and 4 versus each other. It's the two highest ranking South African sides versus each other. The sad thing is, even if the Sharks win with a bonus point, they're still going to be behind the Bulls.
Yeah.
But I do predict, you're looking at probably the best players that we can choose for South Africa in the front row coming from these two unions.
Yeah. Well, we will definitely be missing Ox and Chair, especially with the scrum that the Bulls have. And Ox and Chair is also injured. We will definitely be missing it. And Tutukum Chunu, as goody as he is, he's not the best scrummager. He is a good player in my opinion, and also obviously a Springbok prospect. But I think he's going to get decimated by the Bull scrum.
I think so as well. I can't. I just can't. I think, if they were playing in Durban, I would edge this. Honest. They're not playing in Durban, and I think, going from Durban to the Highveld, where you're playing the Bulls. The Bulls are on form. The Sharks are on form. But I just think, under the circumstance, I think at Fort Loftus, it's going to be a very hard thing to beat.
Yeah. I'm fairly, so we have the Sharks team. They've been announced. We don't have the Bulls team. I'm fairly certain they're gonna put Opa Villiers on 10 again, which I think he looked very good at, at 10. Obviously Cameron Hanekom at 8, which is one of my favorite players in the URC. Very, very good. Definitely my favorite to take over that Springbok 8 jersey. Sorry, Jasper Wiese, I know he's not that old, but I honestly think that Cameron Hanekom is gonna be a massive effort for us this year. But let's look at the Sharks team. The available players. So we've got Mkuno, a very good player. Like I said, not the best scrummager. Pongi Monambi, what a beast. What a beast. That's a Springbok. And I'm talking about a Springbok, not a Springbok that just got 1 cap or 2 caps or 3 caps. That's a reliable first or second choice hooker for the Springboks that we've got there. Trevor Nyakane, also very good. I don't think we'll probably see him in the Springbok jersey again. He's on the wrong side of 30, but still very good, very funny. Love the guy. Cornet role.
No,
Yeah, I
I
like.
don't even want to discuss the locks. I think you've got. I think other than Eben, the Sharks have got the worst locks
Yeah,
in the
I don't.
URC.
I don't mind Cornet role. I actually like him. I know he's very young, but he's got that aggressiveness. I think give him a few years, and I do think that he's going to be showing a lot of potential. I actually really like him. Vincent Tsuka. Oh, sorry, we missed Mavir Sere, who's the Zimbabwean international. Vincent Tsuka. I know that you're not the biggest fan. I like the Tsuka brothers, both of them. I think Emmanuel Tsuka is injured. But Vincent Tsuka are also very, very, very good. I think both of them are actually eligible to play for the Springboks. And I wouldn't be
But I hope
surprised.
they never get big. Really, I think they probably. Dude, we've discussed this during matches.
Yeah.
Both of them as flankers climb out behind their props. And the
Mm,
minute they do that, the scrum goes backwards.
yeah.
They're overrated players. I don't even know why they're still actually being picked for the side. Um, but you know they're there. Probably they
Mm,
look they when it's loose and the defense and the attacks are good.
mm.
Pepsi Buthelezi at 8.
Yeah, Pepsi Buthelezi, I like him. Once again, I know you don't like him, but I really do like him. He's definitely not the best eight or one of the best eights, but he's very good and he's very aggressive. And guaranteed, him and the Bulls, some of the Bulls players will scuffle this game. Grant Williams, I mean, enough said. Grant Williams is the best nine in South Africa. There is no better nine than him, in my opinion. I really, really like Grant Williams. He's got spark. I think he's the fastest Springbok player. I'll need to double check that, but I'm fairly certain he's the best um, or the fastest Springbok player in the squad.
No, for sure.
Siama Suku, who's literally saved us out of the Sharks' dark days. Ethan Hooker, brilliant player. And I love him on wing. Very very good player on wing. I prefer him on wing than on 12, and I know a lot of people can disagree with me. Lokanyam, was the best center in the world at one stage. Jerenzo Julius, I mean, another one of those young players that are coming through that is looking brilliant and is definitely going to get his Springbok cap this year. Yeah, I think we're struggling a bit at wing. Jordan Hendricks, I like him more at 10, but he's also very good at fullback. Obviously, because Apalele Fassi's injury, he's playing him on fullback. Also very, very good.
Look,
But yeah,
I think
prediction.
if looking at the backline, I think there's Julius. I was skeptical in the beginning. Really, I was. I didn't like that a secret when back in the day when we were talking about it. But I really do see him as probably the best outside center prospect that we've had in a
100%.
very
Yeah.
very very long time.
Yeah, yeah. So we looked. I know that we didn't do too well for the under 20 Springboks or under 21 Springboks, and Julius was one of those players there. But he was one of the standout players for that for in that squad. I know in that rugby championship we did very very bad, if I'm not mistaken. But Julius was, like I said, he was one of the star players that came out of that. I remember putting on the group, you must look at this guy, this young player coming through the ranks, and I honestly think that he's going to be, um, um, you know, like I said, a future star for us. And the next thing I know, he started for the Sharks, playing for the Sharks. So yeah, I'm very happy. I'm very happy that happened. Yeah, he's gonna be very good. What is your prediction on this?
I think the Bulls are going to edge it purely because of home field advantage. I don't think there's a lot between the two teams, to be honest.
Mm,
But I do just think the Bulls. I don't think it's gonna. I think it's gonna be a high scoring game.
yeah,
But I don't think it's gonna be the score's gonna be. I think the
yeah.
Bulls by about 7.
I think if the Bulls can clean up the act, they obviously have a very very aggressive team, but if they can try and concede, make a few less handling errors than they did against the Stormers, which I'm sure they will make a whole lot less, and it's something that Jake White did address with them. I think the game could actually run away with the Bulls. They say the game starts up front, or is one up front, and if you look at that front row of the Bulls, or the whole forward pack, in fact, versus the Sharks, yeah, I think the Bulls edge it there. So I think they can. They'll probably win it by 14. Which hurts me to say. Yeah, I know that we said we can try and keep it a bit shorter. I think we're on 30 something minutes already. So let's move on to the next game. Benetton versus Ulster,
Easy,
Saturday.
easy win for Ulster. I don't see Benetton there.
Yeah.
Um,
I think Benetton can do that. They've got that 10 Umaga. I think his name's Umaga, which isn't too bad. You know, I think Benetton can do it, and they've been very up and down. There's been a few games that they've won. Quite easily. I'll need to go back and check exactly which ones, but I remember they've shocked me a few times in Ulster. I mean, in the URC. But yeah, I agree. I do think that Ulster will probably take it.
yes, no, for sure.
Munster.
Munster Scarlets, easy one for Munster. I feel they. Um, I do think they're number 6 and 7, and the Scarlets are ahead of Munster at the moment. Um, but I just feel that Munster's gonna have the upper hand there.
Mm. Yeah, I think Munster takes that one. I actually want to go back on Benetton also. I'll change my prediction. I think Benetton's taking it. Benetton, and then Munster will take versus Scarlets. Connacht versus Cardiff. I think Connacht takes that. They are missing Mac Hansen and Bandiaki. But yeah, I still think that Connacht. Cardiff is actually ranked quite highly up in the URC. They're obviously also missing a lot of their players for the international season now. But yeah, it's difficult to predict these games with all the international players that are missing.
Yeah,
But
I think even though that I think
Connacht takes it. I also think so.
no, I think Cardiff's gonna take it.
Oh, you think? Oh,
Yeah,
okay. Yeah.
I really Cardiff sits on the log at the moment.
But I think a lot of I need to go back and check. I think Cardiff actually is very lucky. I think they've played a lot of derby games and home games. I don't know if they've really been challenged yet this URC, but yeah, I might be wrong completely. Glasgow versus Dragons. Glasgow is the old URC champions. They've pulled the hoodoo on us.
Yeah,
Um,
I
uh,
think it's just culture in the team coaching. I think it's
Marcus Smith.
easy win.
Yeah,
So Dragons are dead last. They've won one game. They're in a minus 113 deficit.
yeah,
So I just can't really
yeah,
giving anything.
yeah. I also
Even if
agree.
Glasgow
Glasgow.
plays their loses all their first big players, I still don't see the Dragons doing.
Yeah. Well, they might lose their coach in
All right.
Glasgow. Warren Gatland leaving. Now that is the one. The one thing that everyone's been talking about in the last few days. Um, Look, this has made me sadder than I thought it would. I think it was for the best. I really do. But I honestly think it's very sad, and I think that Warren Gatland is going to be remembered as the coach that had a 14-game losing streak with Wales instead of the coach.
Yeah, but it was long overdue, though. I mean,
Yeah,
look, I think Wales is their own worst enemy in this one,
yeah,
and if anybody is to blame, it will probably
yeah.
be rugby. To be brutally honest, I think it was long overdue,
Mm.
and
No, I
I
agree.
just hope they don't get
No,
somebody to
yeah.
replace him that doesn't.
I agree. I 100% agree. We spoke about it last episode, and we actually said that that's what Wales need. It's just a rebuild, and they need to be, a fresh start. But it's very sad. Like I said, I don't want Warren Gatland. I'm not his biggest fan, and he has said a few things that have sort of upset me. But he's accomplished a lot. He's won two Six Nation Grand Slams, if I'm not mistaken. He's won a Triple Crown in 2021. He almost beat South Africa in the 2019 World Cup semi-finals. Who would forget that nail biter of a game? So I hope that's what he gets remembered for, and not for the fact that he has a 14-game winning or losing streak with Wales. But
But I don't know. I don't know. I think it's a good thing. I don't know if Matt Sherratt is going to be the option that they're looking at.
no,
Matt Sherratt, just to give a bit of history on him, quick one. He's been in the coaching game for quite a while. He started in 2005 as a developmental coach with England Rugby. Then he had a bunch. Most of it was club environments. After that, academy coach, backs and attack coach. He was in 2017. He was assistant coach for Wales, and then he went back into the club scene where he was with Ospreys for a while.
mm,
As a backs coach, he was the interim head coach at Ospreys as well for 2019-2020. And then he was a backs coach. He was Cardiff head coach in 2023. And from there on, he's gone to kind of where now. So I do think he's very attack orientated, which would be a good thing for Wales. I do think that if they can just actually start playing rugby again, I think the message there should be at the moment is not to win games, but to find the love again, the love for the sport. I think play the game. Take the um, go back and just enjoy your rugby. Pass the
Yeah.
ball a bit, just have fun.
Yeah.
You're not going to win anything. You're
No.
not even in nobody's even rated you. I mean, 90% of the rugby community has predicted that you will lost in the Six Nations.
Yeah.
So, just take that and say, okay, listen, here's what we're going to do. We're not going to win anything. Let's just do the best we can. Let's
Let's
go
do things. Yeah.
and just play.
Yeah.
Just have fun. Don't worry about the
Yeah.
score. Just have fun. And who knows? Maybe that's
Yeah.
that's exactly what Wales needs.
Yeah, well, I did see there was three names that were shortlisted, and there was Franco Smith, who's the Glasgow Warriors coach, Michael Cheka, who's just left Leicester Tigers, and Simon Esterby, who's the current interim Irish coach. The problem with Simon Esterby, I actually read today that Ireland are wanting a €500 or €500,000 release fee for him. Which is a hefty price. But I mean, if he wins a Grand Slam in the absence of Andy Farrell, he probably deserves it. But I think Franco Smith is his best bet. I wouldn't. There was one stage I think we spoke about it not too long ago where we shortlisted him for the replacement for Rassie if Rassie one day decides to leave us.
I still
Um,
I still hope that Dobson leaves back home.
yeah,
But if I was Wales at the moment, I would I would
Franco.
I would chase Franco Smith
I would
mainly
also
because
Frank.
of his
Yeah.
record, his way of coaching and stuff. I think he'll bring
Mm,
a fresh brand of rugby, especially into Europe.
yeah.
With the way he coaches, and I think he could possibly Wales back to being a top 5 or top 6
Yeah,
nation.
Franco is your guy. Look what he's done with the Glasgow. I mean, he's literally won them a URC. Franco is your guy. You cannot go wrong with there.
Yes.
A few other things. Argentina versus South Africa. We played in Twickenham in the last leg of the rugby championship. Why? Why? I understand.
Well, look,
Twickenham.
I feel, you know, I think at the end of the day, it's going to come down to that again. It's the time zone thing, we saw last year, okay?
Mm,
Flying 18, 19 hours there, flying 18, 19 hours back in just that week period between the two matches, you lose almost 3 days.
yeah.
Um, but now Argentina's going to lose the 3 days. But everybody hates the South Africans, so it's basically a home game for Argentina.
Yeah. Well, I think it's a home game for us, seeing how many South Africans we've got there now, what our winning record is at Twickenham. So I think it will be a sort of a home away from home for us. But I don't see the point. I understand what you're saying with the traveling, but for me, we've got South African fans that will pay top dollar for those tickets and want to see their heroes on that field. You've got Argentinian fans that will pay top dollar for their tickets to come and see their heroes.
Maybe they just want to spoil the European people, by giving them proper rugby.
Yeah, well, probably, but I still think it's a game for the fans, and honestly, neither Twickenham is a home game for either of our teams, and you know, we want to see our players, and I feel like Argentina are in their golden years now. I know they don't probably have the trophies to show it, but I mean, they beat New Zealand, they beat in New Zealand in the rugby championship, they beat us. Um, they've been playing very very well. Argentina.
And
So
look, you're gonna go, and this is almost getting the same value as a Ireland versus France game in the Six
mm,
Nations, where you know South Africa versus Argentina. It's literally two teams in the top 5 facing each other.
yeah,
You know,
yeah. No,
so
it did.
it's
Yeah,
big, and I think doing it in a spectacle. What would be great though? What would be that game is if South Africa and Argentina are tied for the
yeah,
rugby championship,
yeah.
and that
Well,
game settles it. I mean, that would be
100%. It would
that
be.
would
It
be
will be phenomenal. It would be really, really good. I just don't see it happening. I think New Zealand are on the rise. I think they are going to be a force to be reckoned with. Hopefully, not too much because we are playing them at Eden Park. But we'll get to that now. Um, another one of our headlines is London Irish are being re-established and they might join the URC. Your one of the Stormers, I forget the name, man. Ben Lauder is actually from the London Irish, and he's a brilliant player. It'll be
Yeah,
interesting to see.
I wouldn't really call him Stormer.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if he'll be going back to the London Irish though. But I'll be honest with you. I'm actually excited for this. I'd like to have at least one of the English teams in the URC. Hopefully the London Irish can build from there. I remember when it was announced that the Premiership teams will be joining the URC. I got so excited until I read that they wanted to kick out the South African teams. But yeah, I would really like to have some of the English teams in the URC. I think maybe it'll be too many teams for one competition, but yeah, it'll be nice to have one of them there. And well done, London Irish.
Yeah, welcome back.
So I think the final thing that we need to talk about, and that's the upcoming Springbok fixtures. So
I'm torn.
I think, in my opinion, I think that this is the year, 2025 is the year that if we want to say that we are the world's best rugby team, this is the year that that we're getting an opportunity to prove it. So our home games we got Italy at home. I think Georgia's coming in.
We got Italy at home twice, and then we're playing Georgia.
Yeah, so the home games are not the best, but that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
It's a good opportunity for the
opportunity. 100%. Get Asanati, get Hanekom, get them game time.
There's a lot that we can bring.
Yeah. But our away games is what's making me very, very excited. So all the politics that are going on in South Africa needs to be put on hold now. No one must go to America. We need to support our country because we've got massive games coming up. We've got the New Zealand and Eden Park, and they've got an unbeaten record since 1994, if I'm not mistaken. That we're playing them in the Rugby Championship. We've got France at home, France away. We've got Ireland away. So like I said, if the Springboks want to prove that they're the best in the world, this is our year. If we can beat Ireland, there's the top 4 teams. We're playing them away. This this year, if we can beat Ireland away, France away, and New Zealand at Eden Park, I don't think anyone can argue that we deserve that number 1 spot.
There will still be people that argue. At the end of the day, I think it's going to be a tough year. I'm worried about this based on all the injuries we have at club level, which is going to make it difficult. But there are, in all fairness, there are a lot of players that do stand out as capable replacements. There's a lot of yes. We spoke about Eben earlier, and it's going to be a big loss. We spoke about the 8th man. I mean, you've got Evan Roos, Hanekom that's coming into the. I mean, you can literally take both of those and just chuck them in, one starting, one on the bench. So there's a lot. I mean, there's a lot of props I feel should get more game time. I mean, you look at the Bulls front row with Wilco Low, and I can't remember the other guy's name, and then you also look at Gerard Steenekamp. You look at Tabakane of the Lions. I really feel that he deserves a chance. I mean, you're looking at outside centers. I mean, just the incoming matches, Italy twice and Georgia once. I feel somebody like Julius getting a chance there. I feel somebody like Ethan Hooker should be getting a chance there. I feel somebody like if he's fit, Hartzenberg should be getting a chance in something like that. To develop that. I mean, spoke about it a while back. Again, you're looking at the age thing. Our average age at the moment at the Springboks that they reckon is going to be played is 31. That means next World Cup those guys are hitting 35 basically. It's a tall order to go into a World Cup with that.
It'll be interesting to see how Rassie approaches this because I'm 100% sure Rassie is going to obviously have that 100% winning record in 2025.
In all fairness, Rassie's like a fat kid cupcake shop, right? Because he can choose any cupcake. There's so many cupcakes. You've got 5 cupcakes that can play 13. You've got 20 cupcakes that can play wing. Fullback might be a bit flaky. Fly off, I don't think. Fly off. I mean, so he's literally got at least 6 to 7 players that he could pick in each position that would probably end up being world class quality before the next World Cup.
But now the question is, okay, so you've got Italy and Georgia first up before we start our rugby championship. I think that will be our July game, and then obviously Autumn Nation will be our away games. So, do you blood your younger players against Georgia and Italy like Cameron Asanati, like we said, and hope that they'll be ready to take on the next level, which will be New Zealand away, Italy, France away, Ireland away, knowing that if you play your younger players and blood them against, I don't want to say weaker teams, but weaker teams, and not giving game time to someone like Peter Steph de Toy,
Well, look, the thing is, these guys are playing rugby, right?
They are,
They're
but
constantly playing rugby. Here's the thing, though. You don't also want to go and risk, because remember, Italy and Georgia aren't going to come here to play table tennis.
No, Georgia's actually not looking that bad, but
yeah, they're gonna come here to play rugby, and you know, I can tell you now, if Georgia comes to South Africa and they beat South Africa in South Africa, Georgia won't be able, the people won't be able to work for a month because they're gonna be drunk all the time. So they're definitely gonna come to play rugby. Now, I would rather say, use this opportunity for younger players, because the last thing we need, okay, is for somebody like a Peter Steph de Toy, somebody like a Malcolm Mark, somebody like a Cheslin Colby, and we can basically name another 600 players to get injured against Georgia and then miss all the other matches. I would rather have Cheslin Colby there, a Peter Steph de Toy there for the Australia games. These guys are playing rugby. They're professional athletes. So there's no excuse for them saying, oh, but I'm cold and stuff like that. I don't think so. I think you've got a great opportunity. Italy is not the highest ranked team in the world, but they're still in the top 10 though. They're ranked 10th at the moment in the world. So for you to actually take younger players, give a guy like the fullback of the Sharks, give him a chance. Hendrikse to start at 10. Give him a chance. He's got 2 matches for. They're a top 10 nation. Okay, they're not a dumb idiot rugby nation. Give him a chance to say. Let him just find his feet.
Yeah.
Okay, don't go and don't play the guy, and then all of a sudden our second game versus Australia, our first 3 or 4 choices have gotten hurt, and he needs to tour to New Zealand in September to go play the All Blacks in New Zealand because he's the best alternative. Use these opportunities, young guys. Do like you did in the past. Pick your guys on your bench that's got the experience, that's got the know-how, and bring them on. Bring them on to bring in the calmness and stuff like that. A guy like a guy like Willie Leroux,
like a Opa, yes.
A guy like Andre Pollard. Put Grant Williams on the bench and get a younger scrum off. To kind of start. I would even go as far as to say I feel they might use these games. Give Ambrose Papier another chance as well. Let's see what he does.
100%. I don't think they will, but they should. Even Akar van der Merwe deserves a shot, but he's also on the wrong side of 30. But I think what's going to happen what I foresee is going to happen is probably what he'll do, like he did last year, where there's a mix and match of young players and, like you just said, actually, young players and experienced players. Just to sort of bring that calmness and just help them, because obviously international rugby is a mile away from club rugby,
it's a very, very big thing. Seen it time and time again. But I mean,
over and over.
They've got so many talent that we can say,
100%.
Lorenzo Julius, I really feel, bring the guy in. Okay, start him next. Jesse Krill on inside center, or put Lorenzo on inside center and start Jesse Krill. Let him find his rhythm. Let him see, because he's got the old head of Jesse Krill there that can say, okay, no, when we do this, or when we do this, or when we do this. There's so many to pick. I think Russ is again, like I said previously, is very privileged.
100%. Jesse Krill, talking about Jesse Krill, talking about the 13th position. I think Jesse Krill is still our starting 13. He's obviously, yes, he's a brilliant player. But I mean, there's a lot of young players that are coming through to contest that jersey. Like you said, Lorenzo Julius, Henko van Wyk, yes, what a monster for the Lions, And I think probably one of the only reasons he's staying with the Lions is for his Springbok prospects. So yeah, I think there's a lot of jerseys getting contested this year, but I'm unbelievably excited for what's gonna happen, and I honestly hope the boys don't let us down, which I doubt they will.
Well, time will tell. It's not that far off, but over
Yeah.
3 months.
Yeah, but I think that's. I'm sure we've almost hit the hour mark now.
Yes.
So yeah, I think that's a wrap for now, and then we'll probably see you guys on Monday morning when we do a preview or a review of the games that we've just discussed. Where everyone can laugh at us because we were probably very very wrong in most of them.
Yeah, but who cares? we gave
Cool.
we gave our opinions, and
Yeah.
so far, especially on England, our opinions have been wrong. So we predicted England for a win. So my suggestion to everybody, them for the whole Six Nations so far with England.
Yeah.
But we'll have that conversation again on Monday.
Yes, 100%.
Right.
Cool.
Okay.
Good enough.
Bye.